Boa tarde, good afternoon, tudo bem, pessoal? Sejam bem-vindos a esse webinar do EducationUSA Brasil. Estamos muito felizes por contar hoje com uma pessoa que representa a Towson University, o José Infante, e como nós já informamos na divulgação do evento, toda a session vai ser feita em inglês. Mas antes eu queria só me apresentar, Nelise Hoffman, sou Country Coordinator do EducationUSA, a rede oficial sobre estudos dos Estados Unidos em nível superior. Eu reconheço alguns nomes aqui, sei que alguns de vocês já estão se beneficiando com os nossos serviços, espero que os que estão entrando também saibam que nós estamos aqui à disposição numa rede de 44 escritórios pelo Brasil, hoje em sistema híbrido, fazendo ainda os webinars como esse, para alcançar todo o Brasil, independente do lugar que você esteja, com atendimentos, com plantões para orientar as pessoas que estão buscando informações sobre estudos dos Estados Unidos em nível superior, seja graduação, mestrado, doutorado, e também temos os escritórios espalhados pelo Brasil com os orientadores especializados, treinados para ajudar vocês, seja encontrando presencialmente ou fazendo sessões online, que ficou muito mais prático hoje em dia. educationusa.org.br é o nosso site, e também, eu vou pôr aqui depois no chat, e também nós temos hoje a força do Instagram, né? O Instagram é a forma mais acessível, assim, para chegar em todos vocês. A gente pede que vocês sigam o @EducationUSABR, porque lá estão sessões como essa, que estamos divulgando, estão outras lives que nós fazemos. Em breve vamos fazer mais um webinar para alunos especificamente de mestrado e doutorado, sobre graduate programs, com um professor brasileiro que leciona na Towson University, dia 7 de junho. Vou transitar agora, fazer a transition, tá? Para a gente incluir o José Infante na conversa. José, I'm already telling them about the next session. So today, our webinar, I can see, that's wonderful. Our webinar is really focused on undergraduate studies, but much of the information that José will be sharing for you today, with you today, is also applicable for graduate applicants. So, but this will be focused on undergrad. The next session we are planning, and this is good news for all the graduate applicants that we invited to be here today. It will be on June 7th with Professor Alan Marcus, who is from the Geography Department at Towson University. And he is a Brazilian from the southern region of Brazil, but he's been a professor for a while at Towson, and he'll be here talking about essay writing for graduate applications. This will be on June 7th, and we will be sending the post to Instagram. You have this information if you follow us. You can register there for free and come and have a wonderful session. But let's get back to José Infante, who is the Associate Director for Recruitment at Towson University. And he's here to talk with you today. Thank you so much, José. It's a pleasure to have you talking to Brazilians interested in studying in the US. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, and thank you all for coming in today. I would like to begin by sharing my screen. I'm going to do that right now and briefly tell you that, as Annalise said, my name is José Infante. I am the Associate Director of International Recruitment and Admissions.
Yes.
What that means is that I'm supposed to be traveling, but because of budgetary constraints, I am here with you virtually. So I'm going to get to you one way or the other. Sooner or later, I'm going to get there. So let me begin by talking to you about how to choose a university in the United States. And the best way that I thought to come up with this concept was an analogy, in which we're going to call it probably one of my favorite subjects. Let's talk about cookies. Okay. Now, I don't know how it was in your family, but my mother would say before I got to the supermarket, she would stop me at the door and say, you can have a cookie. Pick one, but only one. And then I said, okay. The problem was that when I got to the cookie aisle, you find something like this. And you're like, oh, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna eat? Oh, I like this one. Oh, I like that one. Oh, and you remember what your mother said. You have to choose one. Well, let's take a step back and talk about the United States. The United States has 50 states and over 4,400 universities, from four-year schools offering graduate degrees, doctorate degrees, to community colleges, to certificates. So which one is the right one for you? Like the cookies, you're gonna have to choose one, right? Because, I mean, unless you have very special powers, you can attend two schools at the same time. So, but more power to you. But when you start looking at what is it that you want, let's say in a cookie, you start looking at the ingredients. Am I a chocolate Oreo person, or am I a chocolate chip kind of guy? Am I a coconut? Am I oatmeal? Am I peanut butter, right? When it comes to schools, you want to take it down by location, let's say. Do I want to be in the north side of the country? Want to be in the south part? On the west side? On the east coast? In the middle? What do I want? Do I want to be in a big city? Do I want to be in a small city? Do I want to be in a mountain, or at the beach, or in the plains, or in a desert? What is it that I want? Then you're going to take a look at, and these are the ingredients, right, of the cookies. Then you're going to start looking at the aspect of areas of study. So if, you know, in my particular case, I like cookies that have low calories, if there's such thing. In your particular case, we were talking about programs. Does it have a strong business program? Does it have a strong biology or liberal arts, strong performing arts, theater? These are the things that you are looking for. These are the things that you are selecting. And as you begin to create that list of ingredients, you begin to basically put cookies back in the shelf to the point where you only get one. And that's the objective of this. You have to pick just one. When you're applying, you're going through that process of, I'm going to take these top 5 because these are the ones I want. But then you have to analyze, well, this says that I get 20 cookies and it costs me $10. But this one says it has 15 cookies and it only cost me $10. So again, another factor that I'm going to consider in which cookie I'm going to select and which cookie I'm going to take home. Same thing with your university. Once you begin to apply, you have to consider not only the cost, but what type of scholarship are they going to give you? What type of discount rate are they going to give you? These are all the variables that are going to make or shape your decision. I like chocolate chip cookies. And if you think of yourselves as the applicants, as the chocolate chips, I like a cookie with a lot of chocolate chips. What are those chips in admissions terms? When we talk about admissions, those chips are your high school transcript, your extracurriculum activities, whether it be sports, whether it be community service, volunteering, anything that you do, a job, anything that you do within those 4 years of high school. And it could be various and different things. What is another chocolate chip? Your essay. What is another chocolate chip? Your, as I said, your high school transcript, your grades. For example, in terms of you're going to go into a STEM program, depending on the school you're at, they're going to take a look at your science and your math. If you're going for liberal arts, you're going to be taking a look at your English and your math. So these are the chocolate chips that we are looking for. The one with the most chocolate chips usually is the one that's being selected. The trick of the game, folks, is to remember that the more successful you are, the more successful you will be. The university will be. What that means is that we're going to pick the student that we feel that is going to be successful at the university, which is going to make the university look even better. So again, the idea is when you're writing an essay, what you want to talk about is what do you bring to the table? You know what the university is going to do for you. What do you bring to the table that is going to, after you graduate, enhance the reputation of that university, how you're going to become a proud alumni? I'm going to take a moment here, subliminal moment, to tell you about Towson University, but at the same time, are you thinking about cookies or are you thinking about admissions? Do you have a question? Okay. If you're still thinking about cookies, I'm going to go on and tell you a little bit about our cookie. Towson University is the second largest university in the university system of Maryland. We offer over 110 majors, minors, and concentrations. That means over 60 undergraduate programs, over 80 graduate programs. We have our average class size around 24 students. And if I want to pat ourselves in the back in terms of rankings, we are one of the best public universities in the country. And we have been named by Money Magazine as one of the best investments for your money. I want to take a moment here to just kind of reflect on the fact that I just said that we're one of the second largest university in the state of Maryland, and that our average class size is 24 students. What that means to you is that we have the power of a large public university with all the toys, that is to say, research equipment, healthcare equipment, education equipment that you will need to study, but you get the attention of a small private liberal arts school with an average class of 24 students. That's pretty unique for a public school. I also want to let you know that we are located in the East Coast of the United States. This is called like the Mid-Atlantic area or the Washington, D.C. area. We are bordered by Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Virginia, and Delaware. We are called the Little America, or the land of the pleasant living, because of our topography of Maryland. We have mountains, we have rivers, we have oceans, forests. The only thing we don't have is deserts. And we call the land of the pleasant living because most Marylanders are middle class. So it's a very healthy state. As a matter of fact, we're one of the best. We're number 6 state according to U.S. News World Report. We are part of the top 15 major metropolitan areas for academic and employment opportunity. Why? Because, again, we're in the East Coast. We're in the corridor between New York City and Washington, D.C., which means that we have some of the best schools in the country, bringing some of the most powerful companies that are going to give you opportunities to do internships or employment. Towson University has 6 schools. I'm going to go quickly over them. The Fisher College of Science and Math, which means information technology, computer science, biology, chemistry. All of our STEM programs live in Fisher. The College of Business and Economics. We're known for our accounting program, our finance, marketing, entrepreneurship. In the graduate program, we're talking about supply chain management, computer science, cybersecurity. They're all in there. College of Health and Professions, we're one of the largest providers of nurses in the state of Maryland, but we also have sports management, speech pathology and audiology, exercise science. The College of Liberal Arts offers psychology, sociology, cultural sciences, languages. The College of Communications and Fine Arts, this is where all our creative people live, where we have our performing arts, our musicians, our actors, and our television or film producers. Back in 1866, this college started as an education school. Today, we continue the tradition where we offer early childhood, special education, elementary education, secondary ed, and English as a second language. For all international students, I ask you to pay attention to all accelerated programs, which include computer science, accounting, business administration to supply chain management, marketing to marketing intelligence, mathematics to actual science and predictive analytics. Oh, what's an accelerated program? Folks, this is where you get your bachelor's, which is usually a 4-year program, and your master's, which is usually a 2-year program. If you combine the two, you can do it in 5 years, which means that you save yourself time and money. If anyone's interested in the application process, you can always contact me, but just deadlines for the fall 24, the application is November 15th. And the regular application is February 1st. If you're thinking about starting school in January, the application deadline is November 15th. Please note that the deadlines are almost a year, with the exception of spring, they're almost a year in advance. That means you need to start sooner rather than later. This is my contact information. I can do a one-on-one with you. I can talk to you about the process of selecting a university. I can talk to you about the process of admissions at Towson University. Or if you just find me delightful and you want to talk about cookies, I'll be happy to talk to you. This is all for now, and please, if you have questions, let us know.
I think you have one question in the chat, but it's a general question. Why Towson University is 1,000? I'm not sure. Has a better I think among Towson universities, right?
Why is Towson University better than other universities?
Yeah, I think it's in general.
Okay, that's a simple one and a difficult one.
Yeah.
Again, think in terms of the cookies. Are you a chocolate chip guy? I know you're a cookie guy. So what is
Yeah.
it that you want? In our particular case, we are in the Washington, D.C. area. It's a vibrant city. Again, I'm on the top 15 metropolitan areas in the United States. We are not in the middle of the city, but a little north. We have a wonderful, beautiful campus where you can walk safely. Safety is one of our main things where we were like the #1 in terms of safety in the state of Maryland. We have an array of programs that you can come in. If you come in as a business major and you take your first business class and you don't like it, we have 5, 6 other schools with over, again, 50 majors in each side of them where you can go into it. Or just pick another major within business. It's all about the ingredients that you're looking for. What kind of cookie do you like?
So you have a good match for everyone, right?
Yes.
You have to look at your goals and profile.
We can make cookies to go.
Yeah. So the next question is, are the SAT or ACT tests required, right? Are they optional?
That's an awesome question, and thank you for asking. At Towson University, the SATs or ACTs are optional. We are a test optional school as of right now. Subject to change, but as of right now, we are test optional.
Right. We had a few changes during the pandemics, and right now the institutions are keeping that policy. But that means that more than ever, the students need to show good transcripts and also do a good job in their essays, right? To talk about their goals and show what they have to offer the university and what they expect the university to offer them. So it's important to consider that too, right? And we have a question about financial aid for, or scholarships. And how does it go in terms of support to students that are admitted, Jose?
So when it comes to international students, undergraduate, when you apply, you're automatically applying to a scholarship. These scholarships range from $4,000 to $11,000.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that when we talk about money, we need to start talking about, well, not financial aid, because financial aid is not available to international students. So we're talking about scholarships in this particular case. And having a clear understanding between the difference between tuition and cost of attendance.
Yes, please explain that.
Tuition is what the university will cost you. Cost of attendance is what the university will cost you, plus your living expenses. Now, this living expenses could include insurance. This living expenses will include books. This living expenses will include your food, your lodging. This is what's called the cost of attendance. Your tuition strictly and specifically deals with your courses, the classes that you're taking. When you're looking at any school and you look at their tuition cost, what you're looking at is and they usually do this on a yearly basis. That's 2 semesters. And usually what's going to charge you is per semester. So Towson University, for example, the tuition for an international student is $28,000. So the the tuition in there is you divide that in half, and that's what you're going to pay for semester. If you get let's say an $8,000 scholarship, then your tuition is going to be $20,000, and they're going to charge you $10,000 on a full semester. They're going to charge you $10,000 in the spring semester. They're going to apply your scholarship in the same way. $4,000 here, $4,000 in the spring. When we talk about scholarships, that's where the scholarships go, towards the tuition. It does not go towards your cost of living. So this is a very important distinction, because usually we tend to talk about, oh, the discount, and people start getting afraid, and they're like, well, you didn't give me enough money. Well, we give you enough money, or a significant amount of money for your tuition. So it's very important for you to understand the difference and understand what you are. If you want to talk to me about other resources, I can talk about College Board. I can talk about FastWeb. I can tell you a few other international resources where you have outside scholarships. And if you want to go further than that, I have a few, or at least I know of 2 companies that provide loans, low interest loans for international students without a, what's the word I'm looking for?
The interest rate?
No, without a
sponsor,
cosigner.
a cosigner or a
Right.
sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we can do that on a one-on-one, and I can introduce you to the people. There are legitimate, clear people. All I can tell you about financial aid is, folks, if anybody, with the exception of College Board, if anybody asks you for money, it's a scam. Okay, so the minute that anybody asking you to pay so you can get a scholarship, please go to your EducationUSA to confirm with them office, or you can call me and I will let you know. Yeah,
check directly with the institution, right?
Yep.
And I think that takes care of this question from Eber. Is Towson need aware? I think it's need based.
Yes. So the answer to that is like, no, we are not need aware. We're need blind. But I, as a recruiter, I'm very sensitive to the fact that I understand where the economies are, that the exchange of rate between the dollar and the various different coins. So I'm usually I try to be very much in tune with other resources, as I said, like FastWeb, College Board. There are other international that offer scholarships for international students. The students can apply.
Right. But it's the examples you gave would be related to merit, right? The students that get scholarship would be merit.
Yeah, so like for Towson universities, when you apply, it will be based on your transcript, on your application.
Right.
So it will range from $4,000 all the way up to $11,000. Also part of for undergraduates, for the You Are Welcome Here scholarships, we offer 1 per year to a first-year student, and that's half of the tuition. Another important factor about our scholarships is that if you maintain the grade point average, the scholarship is good for the 4 years. So,
and you mentioned FastWeb. I will add here so people can take a look. So this is a platform that gives information on scholarships available, right? I've heard about that, and what we do is really to give various resources to the students so they can go and check the ones that would be a good match for them, or what type of requirements they have, if they meet the requirements, and so on. So FastQuad is one that Jose is.
I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to bring this one up. Let me just hold on before I share my screen.
And then there is a question regarding the proficiency test. If you were accepting Duolingo.
We accept Duolingo.
Good, good. So this is a question for Fernanda, the response for Fernanda. So yes, Duolingo is a test that has been more and more accepted at different institutions. So yeah.
So here's this is a presentation I did on financial planning. But this is one, if you guys want to take a picture of it.
Yes,
it
please,
is
everyone.
A fantastic resource, abroad planning scholarship resources. College Board, as I mentioned, is the only one who will charge you like $15, $16 to do the CSS profile. The schools that are what was the word we used? Financial need aware. They will probably ask you to fill out the SS profile, and that will be through College Board.
Right.
Okay. FASWEB, International Education Financial Aid, United Nations Education Cultural Organization, the Mobility International USA, the international scholarships. Those are all good resources. And I believe I have one more that I just learned about. Let's see if you can see it.
Oh, yes. I was going to mention the OAS. That's the.
So OAS is
the Row Fund.
Yeah.
Right?
The Row Fund.
The Row Fund is for Latin America, and I'll add the link here for you in the chat. And this is also a limited amount, and it's kind of a loan type, right? That you can have very low interest. And yes, I can add here for you the link. Give me 1 second, and then I'll ask you the next question. That is, Maria is asking, even if the test is optional, do you advise the student to send the SAT score? Would that hurt? I don't think, right? We generally say
never hurts.
They can
we're not, you know, if you're taking the SATs because another school is requiring it, sure. But if you're applying to schools that are not requiring it, please don't kill yourself.
Right. Let me get the Row Fund. Let's see the next question. Oh no, they're just thanking you for the response. And I have here the Row Fund. Yeah. Yeah, they are.
Good with this? I'm going to turn this down. Yeah. Okay.
And the Row Fund is taking applications now, but this is once you have your admissions concluded, right? So if you have your letter of admission, then you can apply for the Row Fund.
Right, and the same goes with many of this.
All the other sources, right?
All the other sources that I put in, like UNESCO or FastWeb or Mobility International USA.
Right, and in that case, an SAT score might help, right? It might be that those institutions might ask. So you definitely, when you were researching your college options, you can check, of course, a good match for you. You can look into these scholarship applications as well and see the timeline and see the requirements to make a decision on which test you should take. And it doesn't hurt to take if you can afford and if you have time and if you have prepared for the test. Because if you haven't prepared and you just take for a chance, I don't recommend that, because you spend a lot of money and you know, it's a test that requires training. It requires practice. So try to be prepared for that. And
Absolutely.
yeah, and the financial planning goes along with all the other topics that you were preparing, right,
That's
Jose?
what I was mentioning in the cookies, you know,
Mhm.
this cookie
The cost of
package
the
gives me
cookie.
20 cookies for $10 versus this one gives me only 10 cookies for $10.
Yeah.
You know, which is the better bargain, which is the better deal,
Mhm.
you know, or again, which do I like more, which ingredients? These are all things that make or shape the decision. That's why you need to think and plan it out. It's not, I'm going to go study in the United States. It quite doesn't work that way. You really have to think and think what is the best option for you. I tell everybody, I will love you all to come to Towson University. But is Towson University the right school for you? We don't know. That's only you know.
Yeah, it's mutual. That's what we tell the students, that the universities want to make sure they are a good fit for you.
Right.
Not just a matter of saying, yeah, submit your application. They want to deliver, to offer you what you were expecting to get, right? So that's why we have so many institutions in the US and so many options. It's part of your
In the
whole.
end, we all want you to be happy. So
Mhm.
it's difficult when you choose the wrong cookie and you're like, oh.
Yeah. And speaking about good match, there is a question from Lily here of the percentage of acceptance. I don't know if you have that number of how many applications you get and how many acceptances you get.
We are we received a good pool of candidates this year. I would say that we are on a almost like a 70%
Wow.
acceptance rate.
Mm-hmm.
However, our enrollment rate is like around 40.
Mm-hmm. The retaining
Yeah.
rate. Mm-hmm.
So it's hard. I mean, for us, it is competitive, but we have plenty of space.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned this all about an undergrad. For grad, it's different because it depends on the program and how much space they have. So that's a different story. And when it comes to financial aid or discount rates, for example, Towson doesn't have scholarships for graduate students. What we do have, and they're very competitive, are assistantships.
Mm-hmm.
And the assistantships can be of 10 hours. There are others of 20 hours. This could range from covering half a semester to covering the full semester.
Full semester. Yeah, the
Right?
packages vary. Yeah, and just so the undergrad applicants understand, when we say the difference between scholarships and graduate assistantships, in the case of mestrado and doutorado candidates, is that the scholarship, you don't need to do anything. You get that as, you know, real funding that will help you cover your expenses. And of course, this is out of merit, right? You have qualifications that meet the requirements of that institution or that program. A graduate assistantship is also, you get a stipend, but you have to work on campus. And that's why Jose mentioned either 10 hours or 20 hours, because this is the maximum amount of hours that an international student is allowed to do or to work on campus only under a student visa. So And also because if you were a graduate student, you were a full-time student. You don't really have to be working more than those 20 hours. It's very demanding. Your focus should be on studies. So in that case, you would be working with your own department in a project and research, because you can get a research assistantship or a teaching assistantship, or a graduate assistantship can be administrative work in the department where you are pursuing your degree, or in different areas of campus, but just for those number of hours, and that stipend has to cover a part of your expenses. Then you have to manage your financials in a way you cover your expenses, and still you have to complement the amount, right, with other sources, unless you get full funding, but that is more likely for doctorate, and you have very limited fund available. So yeah, you have to research, you have to start early, right, Jose? We generally have our blurb for people that are starting their applications that, yes, you have to start early, you have to explore all your options. That's why it's so important for you to be here to listen to Jose, and we really appreciate your input, your advice, and hear directly from someone from admissions informing you the possibilities with Towson University, right?
Yes.
Sure. Let's
What I was going to say was simply that, yeah, I talk about Towson University, but I try to keep it as generic as I could, so that everyone understands that they need to figure out what school, what do they want out of their cookie, and how much is it going to cost them. You know, if you get that coupon, that scholarship, how to use it. And then in the end, we're all looking for the same thing. We're looking for the best students.
Yes, definitely. Well, Jose, what's your, I was supposed to say there was no more questions, but we have Maria asking about your opinion on gap year. Would that be a concern for you, or?
Absolutely not. Our only concern during the gap year, were you taking university courses before that? Then, because then the application, you're not a first-year student, you're a transfer student. So, but a gap year is always good. It's also, it could be a good storytelling for your essay.
Yeah.
In terms of, what did you do? So yes, it could be a very motivating factor.
Yeah. If I can add here, Jose, I always ask the students, what have you done during the gap year? What was, what type of accomplishment you had in that time? Why the gap year? And this can even be a matter of, I had to stop to work to help my family, or I had the pandemics impacted my plans. There are so many reasons, or there are people that are developing volunteer work. You have to explain the gap year and show the advantage of having a full year out of school, right? And add that to your life story and your accomplishments. So
that's a perfect way of putting it.
Yeah,
add your life story.
Definitely. Well, I think we covered several questions. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Do you have any other questions, please? We can still do a few minutes. And Jose is here. And as I said, we're going to have one more session for graduate applicants on June 7th. Please follow Instagram to get the post and the registration link. And if you want to go on with your plans and you need the assistance of an advisor, please visit our website, or again, go to Instagram and get the link to the advising centers to find an advisor, okay? Thank you
There's my
so
email,
much.
just in case everybody wants it.
Yes, true. Thank you again, José. Buenas tardes, boa tarde, good afternoon. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you next time. José, take care. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.